Assalamu alaikum. My name is Khadija Naz and I'm a student of 4th Prof Morning. My roll number is BP1650105. The topic assigned to our group was use of corticosteroids and my subtopic is Reiter syndrome. Before going to start the case study, we have to know that what is Reiter syndrome. It is also referred as reactive arthritis. Basically, it is an autoimmune disease in which the main symptoms are arthritis, conjunctivitis, and non-specific urethritis. Reactive arthritis is an RF seronegative HLA-B27 linked arthritis. Causes. The main causes are streptococcal throat infection, glandular fever, viral flu, food poisoning, and sexually acquired. Pathology. The bacteria involved in this inflammation, mostly those bacteria present in the genital, that is Chlamydia trachomatis, or in the bowel, that are Campylobacter, Salmonella, Shigella, and Yersinia. Sign and symptoms. The main sign and symptom is that pain and stiffness of joint, mostly in knees, ankle, and feet. Other signs and symptoms are eye inflammation, urinary problems, inflammation of soft tissues, swollen toes and or finger, skin problems, or low back pain. It is mostly occur in the age between 20 to 40 years and more common in the men as compared to the women. It is also more common in the white men because they have a high frequency of HLA-B27 gene as compared to the black people. Patients with HIV positive also have high risk of developing reactive arthritis. Treatment. We start our treatment with the antibiotics to treat the comorbidities such as conjunctivitis and urethritis, and then we give NSAIDs to settle the inflammation and treat the pain of joints. We can also give corticosteroids, maybe in the form of topically, intraarticularly, and systematically. If the patient is not responding to the NSAIDs, then we will give disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs, that is DMARDs. And if the patient is not responding to above all medicines, then we will go towards the immunosuppressants. Case study. We have a case that a 20 years old boy was seen at the Mayo Clinic with the conjunctivitis, arthritis, and dysuria. His eyes had become red 17 days previously, and there was no pain. 5 days after onset, a moderately large subconjunctival hemorrhage appeared in his left eye. He was prescribed the antibiotic drop chloramphenicol given for 4 days, but it did not help. 5 days before admission, the patient developed spiking fever up to 103 Fahrenheit and he felt nausea and headache. Doxycycline was prescribed for Rocky Mountain spotted fever. A transient erythematous rash was noted over the abdomen and the right thigh. 3 days later, he complained of marked pain in the shoulders, elbows, knees, and ankle. He was unable to walk. The left ankle and the right knee appeared swollen. He was inactive in the bed, tired easily, and was anorectic and lost his 4 pounds weight. Later, he also complained of urethral burning during urination and had several loose stools. There was no family history of arthritis or conjunctivitis. The bulbar conjunctivitis of both eye diffusely, deeply congested. The hemoglobin was 11.1 gram per 100 ml. Leukocyte count is greater than 50,000 with 50% lymphocyte, 75% monocyte, 42% neutrophils, 8% eosinophil, and 2.5% basophil. Urine analysis showed grade 1 albumin and grade 2 leukocyte. The erythrocyte sedimentation rate was 73 mm in 1 hour. The serum albumin was 2.58 gram per 100 ml serum, and the alpha globulin is 0.47 gram per dl. Other serum protein fraction were normal, and the cerebrospinal fluid was clear and colorless with the five white blood cells, and the cells were normally lymphocyte. He is positive for HLA-B27 antigen. Soap notes. Subjective. The patient age is 20 years old. Gender is male. He was complaining about conjunctivitis, arthritis, and dysuria. History is that he present to the hospital with the 17 days of red history of red eyes, and he was complaining about pain in a shoulder, elbows, knees, and ankle. Fever of 103 Fahrenheit, and he feels nausea and headache. The current medication he is using are chloramphenicol, BP 0.5%, 2 drops in each eye twice daily, and doxycycline 200 mg per daily or 100 mg every 12 hours. Objectives. The laboratory data is showing that his hemoglobin is 11.1 gram per 100 ml, which is slightly less. His leukocyte count is greater than 50,000 per mm with 50% lymphocytes, which are high because the normal range is 18 to 45%, and 75% monocyte, which is also high because the normal range is 2 to 8%. 42% neutrophils, and the normal range is 40 to 60%, so it is again high. 8% eosinophil, and the normal range is 0.0 to 6.0%. 2.5% basophils, and the normal range is 0 to 2%. So these all counts are high. The erythrocyte sedimentation rate is 73 in 1 hour, which is very high because the normal range is between 0 to 15 per hour. His serum albumin is 2.58 gram per 100 ml, which is low because the normal serum range is 3.4 to 5.4 gram per 100 ml. Alpha globulin is 0.47 gram per dl, which is again high because the normal range is 0.1 to 0.3%. The cerebrospinal fluid was clear and colorless with the 5 white blood cells, and the cell were normally mostly lymphocytes. He is positive for HLA-B27 antigen. Assessment. Possible reflex are anterior uveitis, conjunctivitis, and hot swollen joint and dysuria. Usually, people with the Reiter syndromes have mainly these symptoms. As he is also positive for human leukocyte antigen, that is HLA-B27, and approximately 75% of people with the Reiter syndromes are positive to HLA-B27. Erythrocyte sedimentation rate was also high, and that is indicating that there is an inflammatory process going into the body. Low level of serum albumin and high alpha globulin level, also indicating an inflammatory disease. High WBCs count infection in the body, and high level of basophils and lymphocyte, indicating that an autoimmune disorder causing ongoing chronic inflammation. So the above history and clinical examination suggesting that he has a Reiter syndrome, that is basically reactive arthritis. Plan. Pharmacological treatment. In the pharmacological treatment, we start with the antibiotic. Antibiotics basically can't treat the inflammation in the joint, but the bacterial infection can be treated by the antibiotic. As the person is not responding to the doxycycline and chloramphenicol, so we will shift toward long-term use of ciprofloxacin and tablet, that is dose is a 500 mg twice a day for 3 months. Then we give NSAIDs for swollen and painful joints in a Reiter syndrome. And in NSAIDs, we use ibuprofen 800 mg once daily or 1600 mg twice daily. Or we can give diclofenac 75 mg once daily or 150 mg twice daily. If these above NSAIDs doesn't work, then we prescribe another NSAID such as indomethacin capsule, and the dose is 25 mg twice a day. If it is well tolerated, then we titrated the dose up to 150 to 200 milligram. If NSAIDs aren't enough to get the inflammation under control, then we will give corticosteroids injection. Corticosteroid injection basically don't slow the progression of arthritis itself, but they suppress the immune system. In corticosteroids, we give prednisone, and the dose is 0.5 to 1 mg per kg per day as an initially dose. And if the inflammation is still persistent and still progression of arthritis is going, then we will give disease modifying anti-rheumatic drugs that are DMARDs. DMARDs don't directly help in the pain and inflammation, but slow the progression of arthritis. In DMARDs, we give sulfasalazine, and the dose is 2 to 3 gram per day. Or we give methotrexate, and the dose is 7.5 to 15 mg per week. We also give an alternative treatment that is tumor necrosis factor TNF blocker. In this, we give infliximab, and the dose is 500 mg per kg as an IV injection at a 0, 2, or 6 week, and then maintenance regimen of 5 mg kg at every 8 weeks. 8 weeks. Non-pharmacological treatment, in this we suggest the patient to do exercise, because exercise give strengthen the muscle, and exercise improve flexibility and reduce stiffness. We suggest him to do water exercise because it is a good way to do exercise without causing the stress to the joint. We also suggest him the heat and cold therapy, because heat reduces the pain and soreness, and the cold decreases the swelling. Thank you.